Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant morning to all of you. Okay, today we are blessed, to be here at our second PLC of scoring writing paper SPM 2021. Okay, first of all, I would like to welcome our chairperson, Madam Nuraini binti Muhammad Noor, our SIC class officer, Madam Julia binti Abdul Muttalib, our event manager, Miss Junisa binti Fazli Kalimutu, our committee members, and of course, our audience. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Okay, this is our second PLC, okay, for scoring writing paper 2021. Okay, for the first PLC, which was 2 weeks ago, we have learned the descriptors, we have learned on how to apply those descriptors, and we went through several scripts with our Miss Presenter. So for today's PLC, okay, the flow is more or less the same, okay. It just that for this PLC, we are going to focus on part 2 and part 3. Okay, so for the second part, we are going to focus on guided writing. And for the third part, we are going to focus on extended writing. Okay, towards the end of the session, okay, we are going to have Q&A session. So if you have any questions, okay, you can just write it down first, okay. So we are not going to interrupt our speakers during the session, okay. We are going to gather your question first, and we are going to address those questions towards the end of our PLC, okay. If we do not answer the question at that moment, okay, please be patient, because we are going to address those questions towards the end of our PLC. Okay, so we are going to start. Okay, let me welcome our dear presenter, Miss Nandini Indran.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Kak Aisha, for the brilliant introduction. And I also like to thank Izul for the technical support provided. Okay, before I start off, let's just make sure that you have the accompanying materials for today. So you should have two things with you. One is the instructions for writing examiners. The second is the writing booklet. So there will be a Google Drive link in the description box, in the chat box. So if you haven't got them already, please have them with you, because we will be referring to them throughout the session. Okay, good. If we can have the slides. Yes, thank you. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah, the second one. Okay, so as Kak Aisha has pointed out, we will be covering part 2 and part 3. And if you don't have the instructions and the writing booklet, so please download them. You can just get it from the Google Drive, which Izul will post in the chat box in a bit. Okay, so let's look at the question for part 2 first. Izul, the next slide. Okay, so for part 2, it is moving to a more formal text. Part 1, we have focused on informal email writing, right? So part 2 is going towards more formal text types. It is also 20 marks, and it's using the 4 subscales: content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. But it is guided writing. So there will be points given to you. So all the bullet points should be addressed by the candidates for task fulfillment. Okay, So let's look at an example given by the Lembaga Peperiksaan in their buku format baru. Okay, so this is question 2. Okay, you must answer this question. So there isn't a choice compared to part 3 where there are 3 choices and students will choose only one. Okay, and the length is also a bit longer, about 150 words. Okay, your class has been discussing how they spend their money and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you would spend your money on. Okay, so the idea of managing money and what item to buy should be present in the text. Okay, so here we can see 3 points given. So to get a 5 for content, for task fulfillment, the students must answer all the 3 questions here. Firstly, I have highlighted the word for you, what you would like to buy. So if it's a shoe, the shoe must be given, the brand must be given. If it is a clothing apparel, so it has to be stated clearly. Okay. Next, reasons for your choice. Bear in mind that this is in plural form. So they cannot just get away by giving one reason. Okay, so that will not get them a 5. Okay. Finally, where do you usually buy these things? So a place should also be given. Is it the supermarket? Is it the shopping mall? Okay. And write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. Okay, so these 3 must be present in the candidate's answer. There are a few scripts given. So let's look at the first sample first. Izo, the next slide. If it isn't clear, you can look at your writing booklet. It's in the Google Drive. Is it? I think it will be about buying a guitar, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Izo, the next one. Yeah, I will just read it to you. You can refer to your booklet because it's slightly larger in the booklet. Okay, so we all need money in order to buy something that we like. Okay, no error there. Nothing is free in this world. Therefore, we have money. We need to use it wisely. If it is spent, okay, error there, spent should be in the past tense, on the things that we don't need, we will waste our money. Okay, so meaning comes true till now. So there isn't any problematic phrases that you don't understand the meaning, so you can just keep going. There are a lot of good and worthy things you can buy. For example, food, clothes, and books. So very general, not stated yet about the product that he or she is going to buy. Okay, the next paragraph moves on to, as for me, if I have money, I would like to buy a guitar. So here you can put a mental note that the first has been answered. So acoustic guitar. But bear in mind, acoustic is misspelled. Okay, so it's a spelling error. You put a wavy line. And sorry, it has been in my wish list since I started watching song covers on YouTube. Okay, I think wish list could have been written separately. Anyway, let's move on. I've been dreaming on playing it, but I haven't had enough money to purchase it. Okay, so you know clearly that this candidate is interested to get a guitar. Next, you have to look at the paragraphing as well. It has been started off well and linked pretty well. So you have to make a mental note on.
Yeah,
Next. Now
organization.
he or she is moving to the reasons. Okay, so reasons are the second task fulfillment point in the question. The reasons why I want to buy a guitar is because I love music. So a reason is giving the love for music. I knew how to play the piano before, but I want to learn something new. Okay, so the idea of getting another new skill. Again, you give a merit there. It would be amazing if I get to play more than one instrument. Okay, so again, another reason, the ability to play more. Moreover, so moreover here is used effectively to link both the ideas. So you can points for the language there. An organization, sorry. I want to learn how to play the guitar by myself. I can do that by watching tutorials on YouTube. Again, error free, you get the meaning comes through. So you have to make a note on language as well because it's almost error free, you get the idea. But if you find any phrases where you have to stop and read again, then you have to play with the language marks. Okay, if meaning doesn't come through, you have to reduce that. Next, in that way, I don't have to waste money on guitar lessons. So the idea of not spending extra money for physical lessons by just learning through YouTube. It's MCO anyway, you cannot have physical lessons, right? So let's move on to the next paragraph. Okay, Izul, if you can go to the next slide. The paragraphing is quite good, and there are 5 paragraphs in total. Okay, the 4th one says, I usually buy my instruments. Here, the task fulfillment for number 3 is coming in because the question was, where do you usually buy these things? So it has been answered. Okay, I usually buy my instruments at this music shop called Yamaha. Okay, so the place is given. So you can give a 5 here because he or she answered everything. Next, they have good quality instruments, so their price is expensive. However, it is worth it because it's better than low quality instruments. Okay, they have also provided a reason for buying in Yamaha. Okay, so this error is not glaring, you can understand the meaning. Okay, final paragraph, the concluding paragraph is, in a nutshell, I spend my money on guitar because that's what I need to play. That's what I need to play a new instrument. They said money can't buy you happiness, but it can surely help me achieve my goals. So the idea of the guitar making him happy, a bit. So if you go to the next slide, ta-da! So the Lembaga Peperiksaan has given 20 out of 20. And if you look at the comments, all content is relevant. Okay, so the candidate is fully informed about what he or she would like to buy, the reasons, and where. So you can give them a 5. So if one is omitted, then you can only give a 3 or even a 2. More omission is present. Okay, so communicative achievement. They did talk about money and personal ideas and describe what they do themselves, like tutorials, going on YouTube, numbers. So the meaning comes through. The message has been conveyed successfully. Organization, I think quite well done here. Therefore, for example, moreover, in that way. Okay, so if you look at the dummy scripts, your writing booklet, so the comments are also there. Here it's a bit small, but it is 5 out of 5. Finally, the language. This person has used everyday vocab with appropriate use, and some of the words used are reasons, purchase, instrument, spending. So it is very relevant to the topic. And errors do not impede communication. There was this acoustic, right? So acoustic was misspelled, but other than that, yeah, it was generally error-free. So is that okay? Do you agree? Or do you think KPM is too lenient? Or any comments? You can put it in the chat box and Kak Aisha will let me know. So that is one example. Yes, Kak Aisha.
Nandini, if for example, right, if the language I give 4 because it doesn't like wow me, I'm not in awe. Okay, is it acceptable if I give like 19/20?
There is a plus minus, right? Even when you mark PPT, there is some allowance given. So
Okay.
a 4 is fine, but if you give a 3, then there is a huge.
Yeah.
Okay. So 4 is closer to 5. And maybe
Okay.
that one error you feel it's not a first draft slip, you bring it to
Yeah.
a. Yeah, because we are all individuals, right? So sometimes An essay could be wow for you, but for me it will be like, okay, not that great. So yeah, the personal stylistics of marking also comes into the picture. But 4 or 5, I think it shouldn't be a big difference. But if you give maybe
Yes.
a 1 or a 4, then that's a huge gap. But would you agree, Kaisha, is 5 okay for this sample?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right,
Okay.
4 or 5 should be okay.
5 should be okay.
Yeah. So let's look at a few more samples for part 2 before moving to part 3. Okay, this is a very short one. Okay, we can do it quickly. Here, it has started off by saying
The
before that,
reason.
look at the paragraphing. Previously, you
Yeah.
saw a 5 paragraph essay,
Yeah.
and now it's just one paragraph. Okay, so when you look at it in first glance, you should know the organization, you must bring it down. Okay, there isn't much essays to be marked in the first place, and also paragraphing. How much can you give in one paragraph? How much can you link the ideas? Okay, so let's go through the reason why you must to save your money. Okay, meaning is a bit vague here.
Yeah,
So
wait.
language, you cannot even give a 3 if you look at the first.
Mm.
Okay? Anyway, because we can buy anything with the money. Okay, even using because suddenly in the beginning doesn't, yeah, because there isn't a
There
cause and
is
effect.
no link, right?
Exactly, correct.
Mm.
Next, money can make you survive. Survive is misspelled, so you can put a wavy line underneath. Yeah. When
Exactly.
you add the to buy a thing that you must have. Okay. So if you have students
Yes.
like this, yeah, you must tell them to write shorter and simple
Mm-mm.
so that when the marker reads, he or she will
Mm-mm.
understand. Yeah, the meaning
Yeah, the
must
meaning come true, right? Even
Mm,
if it's short.
exactly, yes. Next, I would like to buy a pair of shoes. Okay, here the idea of what to purchase is that. Okay, well done. Okay, let's continue. Because outside there have any logo or any brand that make me so interested about that. So I think the idea of branded shoes are coming in.
Yes. Mm-mm.
But I think they should have went a step further to explain, okay, Adidas or Puma
Oh,
or
yes.
yes, but that was not given. So you cannot
Mm-mm.
for that. Okay,
It's
next.
quite vague.
Yes. When you compare to the acoustic guitar, which is so
Mm-mm.
clear, and the
Yeah.
reason is very clear. So
Yeah.
here you have to mark down.
Mm.
Next, the design about any type of shoes has a unique design and the quality is not same. So I think they are saying the cheaper shoes is of less quality and the branded shoes have better quality. Again, you are trying to infer from the context. Okay, the writer didn't actually say that to
Yes,
you.
yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you have to bring down the language.
The language.
Correct. I usually buy this thing at shop. Okay. Again, comparing the acoustic guitar where it was a
Yeah.
Yamaha music studio.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But here it's just a shop. A shop could be any shop. Okay. So
Very
there,
general.
yeah, there should be some specific details.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Or I search a online shopper. Okay, again,
Online shopper.
yeah, so there's an error there. It should have
Yeah.
been an online website like Lazada or Shopee, you know?
Yeah.
You cannot
That
do
we
the
have to infer every time, right?
exactly. So this
Mm.
is where you have to bring down the marks for
Yes.
language as well. It's have a different price between buy at the shop and buy at the online.
Mm.
Here, again, you are assuming that this person thinks that buying from the shop could be higher or lower. Yeah. Because
Again, you have to infer.
yes, so you have been inferring the whole time. So the whole paragraph, only one paragraph given, but you have inferred maybe 5 or 6 times.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you think this candidate deserves? Can we give a 5 for this
Absolutely not.
of language? Sorry, content. So 5 is a definite
No.
no, no,
No, definite no.
definite no. And I think 4 is also a bit high.
Yeah, a bit high for this. Okay.
So if you look at the marks, Izo, I think we can go to the next slide.
I think I would give 3.
Yes, Kaisha, I would agree with you. So the
Yeah.
Lembaga also decided to give a 3 because it is
Okay.
relevant, but the target reader is on the whole informed due to some irrelevance about what money can be used. Okay, so
Exactly.
it has more clarity, more details, which shop, which brand,
Mm.
why does this
Mm.
brand makes him happy or makes her
Yes,
happy.
yes, exactly.
Yes, so it's only a 3, maximum of 3. If you give a 4, I
Mm-mm.
don't think it fits.
Yeah, I don't think it's a 4. It's too generous for a 4.
Correct. So communicative achievement, um, straightforward ideas are there, but
Mm-mm.
again, the length is also determining the quality of the piece of writing. So if he or she has given more reasons and more description, we can
Mm-mm.
give a
More
4.
details, right?
Yeah. So it's just a 3. Okay, if you
Okay.
look at the descriptors, sorry, the descriptors for part 2 is on your page 21 of your writing instruction. Okay, so 3 means it just produces a text with straightforward ideas. So it did not hold your attention. So the target reader's attention was not held as comparing to the acoustic guitar. Okay, so that's the 3 and the 3. Organization, it
Yeah.
deserves a 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
so this
exactly.
is a bit too high because there's a limited number of cohesive devices, and it's also repetitive because we keep
Mm-mm.
repeating because. So because
Mm-mm.
it's repeated, but it's not even used appropriately.
Ah,
Just for
yes, it doesn't use
about that, this thing. So
mm-mm.
3 is too high for this candidate. So the examination syndicate gave it a 2. So 3, 3, and 2. For language, I think to get a 3, it's a bit too much, right? Because 3
Yes.
means basic vocab should be used appropriately. But
Yes.
yeah, even spelling mistakes like survive, usually.
Mm-mm.
And if you see errors are noticeable, and to get a 3, meaning still should be determined.
No.
Here, the meaning was not determined. That's why
It's
it's
not
a
sufficient enough, I think, right, to get a 3.
so if you do not second guess, if you do not reread, you can give a 3.
Mm-mm.
But here, Kaisha, if you noticed, we are the ones doing the assumption for
Yes,
the.
yes. We
So it,
are inferring the whole time, right? Because
yeah,
the meaning doesn't come through clearly.
that's why it's only a 2. So 3,
Yes.
definitely not a 3.
No.
So the total was only a 10 out of 20. Okay,
Mm-mm.
so
I agree.
2. Okay.
Okay, and the rest of the audience say, content is 3, right? And 1 to 3, Hidayah to Fitra. Okay, Miss Shirley said absolute no. Okay, for 5. Okay, Miss Rida said I will give 2. Okay, I think she is referring to the language and content as well. Okay, let's move on.
Yes, if we can look at a couple more samples.
Okay.
Okay, this again, the handwriting is also bad. But if you look at the previous one, it is slightly better. So you have 4
Mm,
paragraphs here. Comparing the previous one, only 1 paragraph. Okay,
mm,
so here you might want to look at how they have organized the paragraphing. Okay, let's look at it. We must spend our money on the good things. I want to share how I spend my money.
mm,
First
mm.
thing, we must have a target. What do you want to buy with your money? The introduction is there, but I think things like the first thing is not really appropriate. So you can just start off by saying, okay, we must have a dream or a target to buy, which brings us happiness or something like that. So first thing, this words
Yeah,
you,
it's like a verbal conversation, right? First
yeah, not
thing,
an essay to convince
yeah,
someone.
yes, exactly.
but it's slightly better than the first one.
Then the previous one.
Let's keep reading. After that, we have to focus to your aim. Again, I would suggest you to tell your students not to write words like after that, because after that is more for a process and procedure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you can just limit yourself with in addition, besides that, having said that, not only that, moreover. So after that means it's a sequence. You have one,
Mm-mm.
like me, I want to buy a pair of shoes. Okay, so that is the first requirement. What you would like to
Requirement, first requirement.
correct. I think that is my favorite item. Okay, so the reason is it's something that he likes or she likes. That shoes can make me happy. So that's another reason of choice. Because when we walk with the shoes, I look so smart and handsome. Again. But Kaisha, that's the reason. He's giving reason.
Yeah.
And so if you have students like this, if they can use these adjectives, smart, handsome, comfortable, so these are vocab that you should teach your students.
Okay.
Next, other than that reason, when I use shoes, I have more confidence. Again, confidence should be the correct word.
Confident.
It's an error. And I can use the shoes in a long time. Again, it should be for a long time. Error, you underline. I can buy my favorite shoes at Sport Planet. This is the requirement for the third point. So where do you usually buy? Okay, so it's
Yes.
not even a shop, but it is Sport Planet. So like a
Yes.
direct.com or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it is like a task fulfillment. So all the three
Yes.
have been answered. So your content, you can already think in your head what marks you can give. Next, other than that place, we also can. So that's a transpose. We can also.
Yes. I think this is common, right? Common error for transpose, right?
Yes.
Can also can, right?
Malaysian students, they always
Yeah.
this mistake.
Also can, and we repeatedly saying like can also.
Right. So okay, this is something that we can pick up on in
Yeah.
as well. So we tell them, we drill them, look, don't lose your marks.
Yeah,
Simple stuff
exactly.
to avoid. Okay. Bought at boutique. So I think there's another venue or a place that you can purchase the shoe. Okay. Finally, we must spend our money on the benefit things, maybe beneficial things. So
Beneficial.
I hope you all can use my ideas of spend money. So this has some errors. Okay, I hope you
All of
find
you.
useful or you spend your money wisely.
Yeah.
Last sentence must have some modifications for this learning. Okay, Kaisha, content, what do you think? Can we give a 5? Did he or she answer all the 3 requirements?
I would, okay, but if my student wrote this, I'm gonna give 5 for content. CA, I'm gonna give like 3 or 4. 3, I think, for
Okay.
CA. Language, I'm gonna give 3. Organization, I'm gonna give 3.
All right, okay. I think you are on the right track. So, Izul, if you go to the next slide, you are correct when you said 5 for content because all content is relevant to the task.
Yes.
The place, the reason, the
Yeah.
sports shoe, and not sports shoe, a pair of shoes, sorry. So all are given and the candidate deserves a 5.
Yes.
Next, communicative achievement. It is straightforward, but I think we cannot give a 5 as
Yeah,
comparing
exactly.
acoustic guitar. Yeah, because for 5, it is the target reader's attention should be held. But here it is just just answering what answering. So you cannot give 5. 5 is too high. So the 3, the midpoint is given 3. Next, organization. Things like after that was not really okay. So you should encourage them to use not only that, besides that, moreover. Okay, so because of those, and they were also not really successful in the in organizing the cohesive devices and
Yes,
ideas.
exactly. And linking the ideas to right is very vague. It's
Yes,
not well used there, right? Organization. So I do understand why the lembaga give two.
two only. Yeah. To get a
Mm.
three, it has to be appropriately.
Yeah, appropriate.
Mhm. Next, language. They gave a three. Maybe
Mm.
due to the fact that
Yes.
handsome, smart, play,
Yes.
focus, spend. So everything is related to the theme of
Yeah.
shoes and shopping and managing money.
Exactly.
So the meaning can still be determined, although there are errors. So that's why
Mm.
they gave a three. So two is the too low of a band for this candidate.
Yes, yes. I think right, most of our audience, okay, give three for organization, as same as me, because they think, oh, because there are organizations in the text, right? But we have to actually not being too generous on the organization if it's not used appropriately.
Correct. The keyword is appropriately. So
Yeah.
if it is used in the correct manner, then you can
Mm-mm.
award the 3 marks. If
Mm-mm.
not, if it's just
Yeah.
sprinkling,
Simply.
you cannot give a three. So it should only
Okay.
deserve a two.
Okay.
But if
Understood.
you have
Understood.
changed the words like after that to moreover, or not only that, perhaps you can go for a three. But here
Okay.
I don't think they have successfully used them. So three is too high.
Okay,
Okay.
so audience, okay, our organization here is two, okay, because most of you have given three, same as me, okay, so we need to take note on that, okay, take that into account,
Correct.
okay, Miss Nandini, very good explanation on organization.
Thank you, Ka. If we can go to the next slide.
Okay,
Okay, bear with me. The handwriting is a bit
it's
tiny.
super tiny.
Yes. So you
Yes.
tell your students as well. Try not to use too tiny fonts, because the reader will also have headaches. I will read them to you, but please refer to your script in your writing module. Okay. As a teenager, to have a lot of money is not that easy, and we really need to struggle to make our own money. Again, the idea of making money, like you can earn money, you cannot make money.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, but you can understand the meaning, it comes
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Unless you are a rich kid with parents money. Okay, so unless you are born in a rich family.
Yeah. Yeah. You are born in the silver spoon, right?
Yes, exactly. So idea comes through, but again, like there must be some modification here. Let's
Mm-mm.
move on. And a normal teenager usually spend their money on stuff that give benefit on them. Maybe it could be like beneficial for them, not
Yes.
on them. Okay, not a suitable preposition here. Sometimes the money that is on our hand will go faster than a Lamborghini. So I think, okay, fine. Like maybe the money is spent so
Yes.
quickly.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Anyway, okay, let's keep reading. Okay, you don't penalize them, but it's a bit quirky to use a Lamborghini here. Anyway, okay, let's keep reading. What I would like to spend my money on is, first, I would like to spend it on food. So that's the first answer. So the
Ah,
item that you would like to buy is food. Okay,
okay.
so that's a task requirement. You
First
couldn't take it.
requirement.
Correct. So you give them the credit for that. Because food is the only thing that makes us happy when we are hungry. Again, it's their own personal belief, it's fine. So you can spend it on different kinds of food, such as the dessert, the fruity one, snacks, junk food, or heavy food. Now, Kak Aisha, I don't know what is a heavy food, like makanan berat ke?
Yes, yeah, I think she's or he's referring to, nasi, mee, heavy carbo, right?
Okay, so it's a bit
We have to
inappropriate.
infer then, right? The
Yeah.
meaning doesn't come like very clearly.
So if you are inferring, you can definitely cannot give a point.
Yes,
So
exactly.
bring down the mark for language. Next, it gives us that butterfly on your stomach effect. Again, butterfly on stomach is usually for nervous.
Nervous, anxiety, you being
Anxiety.
anxious, right?
Yeah. But it could also mean that they are so happy, because I had to do a Google search, and apparently if you are very how to say, if you go for a roller
Aesthetic.
coaster ride, or if you have like a crush on someone, it could also be butterfly. So I
Yeah.
think the effect is the same as seeing a crush and seeing a food. So food is gay for them. So it's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
Anyway, let's move on. When we get it, okay, I usually buy food at the mall. So the mall is the place where do you usually buy these things. So that is
Mm-mm.
part of requirement as well. Okay. We have variety of food, so we can choose what to eat. Plus, the best part is you lose the money, but you get the treat. So here, I think it's well written. So you lose something, but you gain something else.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a bit the stylistic of the students writing. So you don't
Yes.
penalize, but yeah, that's a good way. Next, the third paragraph, it has a cohesive device. Other than that, so you have to give credit for that. I like to spend the money on concert tickets. So this is the second item. First was food. The second is concert tickets. So that's also task fulfillment. I think I should spend the money. I should spend my money more on concert tickets so that I can watch my favorite singers live in front of my eyes. Again, live means it is in front of your eyes, right? Takkan in
Yes.
front of your voice.
Redundant.
So again, that's a bit redundant. And by that, I can gain experience watching a live performance. Okay, fine. For concert tickets, I buy it online in this one website called ticketsonlinemalaysia.com. I think this is also a bit like direct translation, right? Dalam satu
Yes.
website,
Mm-mm. True.
one website. Yeah. So try,
Mm-mm.
reduce them to use their first language influence in
Yeah,
their
yeah. They tend to actually that what we call it they translate directly from their first language, right?
language. Correct.
Mm.
And it's very apparent. So you cannot give a five for language here because
Exactly. No,
yeah, it doesn't deserve a five.
it
Next,
doesn't deserve.
last but not least. So again, it is linked well. So organization, you can give marks here.
Mm-mm.
I spend my money on clothes. So the idea of food, concert tickets, and
And
clothes.
truth.
Three things. Yeah. Clothes that I buy is for gaining my self-esteem. So that's a reason.
Yeah,
So
I
you
think that's the reason.
look good. Yes. So you give them the credit. Sometimes I feel insecure when I'm wearing something that is recycled throughout of time. So I think recycled all the time or recycled many times.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So I guess buying new clothes is the answer. So that's a good way to answer.
Yeah.
I always buy my clothes online so that it will be easier. The
Okay.
shipping is fast, plus I don't need to spend money on transportation or others. So here, all others is not necessary. It's like atau line or dan line. So again, they can just stop there. I don't need to spend money on transportation. Full stop. Okay. So, Kak, do you think we can give a five? Does it answer all three questions?
Yes, I think the person answered the reasons for the clothes, right? Confidence and all. Okay, for CA, I give 3. Okay, because the meaning is quite vague, I think. Okay.
Okay.
And language is also 3. Okay.
Okay.
Organization, I would give 5
Yes, you
or
are right.
4.
No, I think five because
5.
other than that, the
Yeah,
best part,
yeah.
plus
Mm.
last but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
least. So it's
Exactly.
appropriately given. Okay, so can we go to the next
Appropriately.
slide? Kak Aisha, you are a bit strict. You can actually give a five for communicative achievement.
Communicative achievement.
Yes, because they are able to hold the target reader's attention. And if you look at the phrases, right? Spend it on
Mm.
different kind of food. The best part is you lose the money, but you get a treat. So these are actually conveying the message across, like why food is
Mm.
important or why the clothes make them very self-confident or things like that.
Mm.
So
So I need to
message.
be more generous in CA.
Yes, for part two, yes, you can. But for
Yes.
maybe part three, you can do that.
Mm.
Okay. So that's
Yeah,
a
we have like different band, right, for different part.
yes, I will highlight that as well. Part 3
Yes.
is of a higher level, pitched
Yes.
even higher. So if you're getting a 5 here, you can maybe get a 3 on the next session. Okay, so that's a 5, 5, 5, and 3, a total of 18. So if you compare the acoustic guitar and this, so you can see they are providing good answers. But here, due to the language, it's a bit lesser compared to the first one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so Miss Nazahia, some student give 5453. Okay, so 54 communicative achievement. Okay, we need to be more generous. Okay, Puan Liwayan. Okay, 5553. Okay, on point. Okay, Madam Liwayan is on point.
Very
Okay, Nur
good.
Hidayatul Fitra, 5433. Okay, Miss Nur Hidayatul Fitra, you need to be more generous. Okay, so I think right, because we need to bear in our mind to remember that the band for guided writing is not as hard as extended writing. Okay.
Correct. Yes, Kak. Okay, shall we go to the next one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is
Okay.
part 3. So any questions for part 2? Can we just move on? Because part 3, we have 3 different questions.
Okay. Okay, any question from the audience for the guided writing? Is there anything? Is this a good length, teacher, for this part? We are talking about length, Nandini. Okay, one of the audience asked, is this a good length? I think she's referring to the previous sample script.
Um, it is actually expected, they are only expected to write about 150 words. But bear in mind that the really good students, they want to paragraph it very well. So one paragraph is
Yeah.
for one idea. So don't penalize them for over length or under length. Just read it
Okay.
as they present it to you. So the length for me it's a bit long, but they have been successful in conveying their ideas. If they give this length but horrendous grammar, horrendous spelling, I don't think it's a good
Yeah,
idea.
it's going to be meaningless, right?
Yes. So try to limit that.
Okay. Okay. So I don't think we have any more question. Okay. The
Okay.
rest of the audience just give the marks. Okay. C5, CA3, O2, C3. Okay. And I know, well done, great explanation. Underline affects the content. Meaning length is not an issue. Exactly. Okay. We can go like, we do not have to be like very strict, about the length, right? As long as the meaning
Correct.
is conveyed. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
I think we can move on to our part 3 because we have like 3 choices, okay, for our part 3, where the
Yes.
students need to choose only one question. Okay.
Yes. Betul, Lore.
Miss Nandini, please continue.
Thank you, Akka. So this is an extended writing. So the length is also longer than the previous 2. Okay. So there is suggested word count of 200 to 250 words. But bear in mind, the good students will actually give you like a 300 to 400 words of essay.
Exactly.
And it could either be an article, a review, report, or a story. Okay, so Izu, let's look at the questions given in the buku format SPM. Okay, this is the first one we'll look at. It is of an article format. Okay, articles wanted. My school canteen. So the subject is canteen. So the food management, the facilities, and whatnot. Here there are 3 points given as well. If you look at all the pieces of writing, they actually give you some guideline. So there's an idea of what to look for and what to
Exactly.
provide. Yeah. So you train students to answer each sections as well. So like baca soalan, you underline, you get to
Yes,
know,
yes.
understand, and then you provide. Okay. So what other types of food would you like to be served? Okay, here they have to read between the lines because if there's
Yes.
mention of other types of food, it means the current
Yes.
types of food are not of good quality or something is wrong there. So only higher level of students will get this. So that's
Yes,
why
yes.
it's pitched at a very high level, like
Yes,
B2
yes.
up to C1. Next, What special facilities should your canteen have? Meaning
Yes.
the current facilities are not good enough.
Yes. Mm-mm.
Next, how can you improve your canteen?
Okay.
Again, you have some problems that you want to be improved.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So the format is article. Write us an article answering these questions. So the student gets this paper, and if they can answer all these three questions in their mind, then they should choose this question. If they do
Yes.
not have the skills to write
Mm-mm.
about, pros and cons,
Yeah,
advantages,
yeah.
disadvantages, you tell them not to choose this type. They can go for a story or they can go
Yes,
for something
yes.
else. Okay?
They should know their forte, right?
Exactly. So we just teach them according to the scheme of work, and they will decide when they get the paper, okay, look, I think I will get more marks if I choose this topic.
Mm-mm.
We just equip them with skills. Next,
Okay.
the best article will be displayed on the school magazine. So the target audience is school, teachers,
Students.
and students. Yes. Okay. Let's look at the dummy script. And so
Wow.
writing, yeah, but okay, what is it? Is it by Sarah? Look at my. Okay, Sarah has written a very lengthy article, so we will go through that. Okay, every school has their own canteen. I'm not sure how other schools' canteens are like, but I believe they have their own specialities. Okay, general statement, opening paragraph is good. For example, the food they serve, their cleanliness, their facilities, and more. More is actually not needed. You can just say cleanliness and
Mm-mm.
facilities. I've seen the canteens at other countries, probably in other countries. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
schools is not needed. Canteens in other countries, enough. And theirs are much better than ours here in Malaysia. So there's some
Mm.
comparing and contrasting with
Yes,
different.
yes.
So that's quite good. I
Mm-mm.
I want my school to provide us a canteen like theirs. So they need to do a few changes in order to make them better. Okay, so
Oh.
the idea of improvement is
Yes,
there.
yes, yes, yes.
That's the topic sentence. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
well done, Sarah, wherever you are, well done. My school canteen serves food that makes students full, like nasi goreng, nasi lemak, and kway teow. Okay, so maybe you can say fried noodles or fried
Yes,
rice.
yes, yes, yes.
However, these food are very oily and it can make students feel sleepy after recess. So the
Mm.
notion of the current food is unhealthy and oily
Yes,
is not
yes.
good.
Yeah, very good. She understand the question.
Yes. So if a student is able to do that, I would suggest them to go for this type of questions.
Yes, yes.
Understanding the requirement well.
Mm-mm.
This will make us lose our focus. Again, a reason for the current choice of food to be
Yes.
horrible. Next, because of that, I would like my school canteen to start serving us healthy food. So this is actually an improvement mechanism, like how to improve
Yes,
the current
yes. Mm-mm.
food like sandwiches and fruits. Healthy food can keep our mind focused in class. Moreover, I would like my school canteen to serve food that can give students energy. This is really
Yes,
important because some of us don't have time to eat breakfast in the morning. Another reason is given here.
yes,
Okay?
exactly.
Sandwich and fruit and healthier
Mm.
options. This could keep us energized throughout the whole day. So I think that it's quite well written.
Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, she understand the question well. She addressed the issue well, right? Uh,
So for language, you should give more than three because it has
mm,
been laid out very well to us.
yes,
Next,
yes.
next paragraph is going to touch on facilities. Special facilities that my canteen should have is here. I think it should be better to use are, right, because
Are
facility
spec-
plural.
uh, yes, yes.
So language, maybe you cannot give a five because that is like
Mm,
a subject verb agreement, very basic.
yes, yes. Very basic.
Next, vending machine. Okay, have is vending machine. Vending machine that's filled with healthy snacks are very much needed for students. We are always hungry all the time. it would be not only students, I think teachers are also hungry all the time.
Exactly.
So it would be easy for us to get some snacks at the vending machine as it is available 24 hours. But you don't need 24 hours vending machine. Who goes to school at night, in the middle of the night, right?
And you
So
are not allowed to go canteen like 24 hours, right?
yes, it's just during your recess break for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
But anyway, the student is over
Yeah.
exaggerating. Okay. Canteen is only open during recess. Okay. So that's redundant, right? You say 20 minutes
Exactly.
and then you say only recess.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
other than that, okay, so that is a very good way to organize ideas. Special facilities my canteen should have is a television. Again, facilities is in the plural, but then they use is. Okay, so this language should be affected here.
Okay.
That shows motivational videos for students to watch. Full stop. Okay, so it means that is an improvement. How to improve the
Yes. How to
canteen?
improve the canteen.
Students are mostly stressed at school, so we need something that could keep us motivated to keep going while recess. We can gain back our strength and also motivation to continue our day at school. Okay, I am giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't
Yeah,
know what
benefit of the doubt.
until the recess that they need to be motivated. Anyway, so that is their improvement strategy.
Yeah.
Last but not least, a good way to link your ideas. I can improve my canteen by queuing in line. Okay, this is not necessarily an improvement. This is just like a
Yeah.
personal discipline
Yeah.
that you should
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
So that's why they didn't give five for communicative
No.
achievement. So this was not
Okay.
really appropriate for the canteen per
Mm,
se.
mm, 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 mm.
So students have this typical habit of crossing the line. I think it's more to like cutting the line, not crossing.
Yeah.
When you
More than
cross,
manners, right? Rather than improving the canteen itself. You are talking
correct.
about students' manner.
Yes. So this is
Mm.
more like attitude and
Yes, attitude.
yeah. So
Mm-mm.
that's why it didn't get a full mark for
Yes, yes.
communicative achievement.
Active
Okay, let's
achievement.
continue. Some of us, sorry, because of that, some of us didn't have time to eat because the line was too long. Again, nothing to do with canteen operation. It's to do
Mm.
to avoid this happen. It should be to avoid this from happening. So
Happening.
error. So
Mm.
language should not get a 5 because there are
Yes.
glaring errors here and there.
Yes.
We should be patient and wait for our turn rather than crossing again, rather than cutting the line. I can
Mm-mm.
also improve my canteen by throwing the garbage in the bin. Again, this is like personal hygiene, like how
Yes.
keep your canteen clean.
How you actually carry it, you are being, how to say, should conduct yourself in canteen, not
Yes, improvement or what
yes,
specific,
improvement of the
right?
canteen would be like something else,
Correct.
the student are talking about the mannerism of the school students.
Exactly. So I think this paragraph, could have been omitted.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. By doing that, the canteen will be clean and comfortable. Yeah, because you are improving your personal practice in the canteen.
Exactly.
Okay. Final paragraph is okay. These are my suggestions to improve my school canteen. Hopefully, we all can work together. I think it should be like we can all work together to make this happen. We can always try to make a change to something better. Our canteen needs to be taken care of since it's where we eat every day. Obviously, canteen is the place. So that is like self-explanatory. Macam
Okay.
it's not needed, but they go and write there.
Very
That
rhetorical, right?
yeah, there's no need for that actually.
Yeah.
Next, therefore, improvements should be made. Okay, so that is done by Sarah. Okay, if we go to the next slide. But Sarah did do a good job. We can't argue with that. Okay, so the Lembaga Peperiksaan gave a 5 for content. Okay, because all the requirements have been answered. Improvement, what facilities, the vending machine, having television for motivation, the types of food like sandwich, fruits. So you give a 5 for content. communicative achievement here, although you think you might give a 5, but it does not deserve a 5
Yeah.
because the keyword is appropriately, not effectively. If you look at the descriptor, part 3 on page 23 and 24 of your writer's guideline, examination guidelines for writing examiners, the keyword for 5 is actually effectively.
Mm.
Effectively to hold the target reader's attention. So if a student writes this in part 2, you can give a 5.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Appropriate, yeah, but it's not
Mm.
effective enough to give
Effectively.
5 in part 3. So this
Mm.
is where your challenge comes in. So
Yeah.
part 3 is of a higher level compared to 1 and 2.
Mm.
Okay, so you cannot give a 5.
Yes.
Next, organization
Language.
was also only 4. Although at first glance you might give a 5 if it's written,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but for 5 organization, if you look at it, using a variety of cohesive devices with generally good effect. But here towards the end, the paragraph was, a bit
Yeah.
not. I can also improve my canteen by throwing the garbage. Things. Yeah, it's not needed.
Yeah, it's not needed.
Yeah, so that's why 5 is too high. So they brought it down to 4. But 3, you have to bear in mind, is too less. So that's
Yeah,
why it's
to
between the 3 and 5 or 4.
in the
And
middle.
yes, language, I think they gave a 4 because to get a 5, it should be including less common lexis. But here, almost everything is like, hungry, healthy, facility. So it's like thematic vocab. Nothing really out of the ordinary here.
Miss Nandini, okay, Miss KH Chong said, can't the writer suggest the pupil to improve pupils' practices when they are in the canteen as a relevant content?
But here the emphasis is given on the types of food and facilities. So improving your canteen, meaning the services that the canteen can provide.
The
Not this,
physical thing, I think.
yeah.
Mm.
So I think they should focus more on improving the services by the canteen provider.
Yes. Okay, would
If
a student be penalized? Okay, from Nazia John, would student be penalized if they wrote speech instead of article? Should they be penalized?
yes, because the format is clearly stated as article. So your communicative achievement should be brought down. You
Okay,
cannot
so
give
Miss
five.
Nazia, okay, you should deduct the communicative achievement. Okay.
Yes, correct. But not the others. Language you don't
Yeah.
touch. Content is fine. Communicative achievement you should bring down. Because that is where the formality, the register, the type
Oh,
of
okay,
text.
okay.
So CA you must bring down.
Bring down the CA.
Because it isn't fair for the students who actually manage to learn how to write an article and they don't know the difference between article and report,
And
right? So
speech. Okay, yeah.
it should be speech, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, is there any more question for this part? Okay, I think we can continue.
Okay, Izul. Okay, this is a rather short one. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on one question because we have another two more, right? Okay, so this is written by Liu Jingli. But Jingli didn't actually write the title of the article,
Title.
if you noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should not give a 5 for communicative.
This achievement.
Yeah, because clearly they have not mastered the writing for an article. Sorry, I dropped my pencil case. Anyway, so let's look at Jingli's article. Very short, only 3 paragraphs. Um, yeah, let's go through. Okay, first you should notice that there's no title.
No title.
So only the author is given by Liu Jingli. Okay. In this article, I am going to talk about my school canteen. Well, this should not be presented because it's not a speech. If it's a speech, then you can state, okay, I am going to talk
Yeah.
about the awareness of reading habits or whatnot. But here, even the beginning itself shows that the CA should not deduct.
Should be deducted.
Yes. Okay, because it doesn't follow the article. Next, about our school canteen, we should sell fried food. Again, error, fried food and healthy food for the students. But putting fried food and healthy food in the same sentence itself is not really
It's,
appropriate.
yeah, in contrast, right? They go against each other.
Yeah, so we don't know if they want the fried food or they want the healthy food.
Healthy
So
food.
yeah, so there's a bit of
Contrast.
vagueness. Yeah. So language you should bring down because you are
Mm.
inferring the meaning here. So language you
Okay.
cannot give too high. Next, canteen must have some facilities such as more chair and tables. Here chair satu je, tables many. So yeah, something is wrong. You definitely know you
Yes,
cannot give
yes.
very much band. Okay?
I think the student doesn't have the awareness of plural and singular, right?
Yes, just
Mm.
main letak je.
Yes.
So yeah,
Basic
language
awareness.
you should bear in mind. You cannot give too high here.
Yes.
This is because can give more space to the students to enjoy their meals. Okay, the reason is given. Okay, and but it's not followed up. So they should
Mm.
have said, currently it is very crowded.
Yes,
They
yes,
need more
yes.
space. No, they
Because you want to highlight the improvement, right?
exactly. So they did not spend more time to actually answer the third requirement. Improvement is
Okay.
not
Mm-mm.
really.
Mm-mm.
Lastly, my school canteen must improve these kind of request, I think request, spelling
Mm-mm.
error, maybe line from the
Yes.
student. I hope principal will see my article soon. We all
Oh.
students hope that the school canteen will improve soon. Okay, but if you look closely, usually for formal letters, we would say this: I hope the principal will take action, or I hope
Mm.
the authorities will do something about it. So
Mm-mm.
here, for article, I don't think it is wise to end with a hope or an aspiration like this.
Mm-mm.
Right? Yeah, article is just informing. You're informing your target reader what's happening, what should be done. That's it. So communicative achievement, you cannot give too high.
Yeah,
And there's
exactly.
only 3 paragraphs.
Organization is not that good.
Yes. Okay, so Kaisha, can we give a 5 for content?
No.
Okay, Izul, can we go to the next slide to look at the marks given by the
Yeah.
Lembaga? Okay. The
Wow.
comments given in your booklet, I'll just read a few of them. So the content deserved only a 3
Free.
because the target reader is on the whole informed, but
Mm-mm.
the idea about special facilities has been omitted. So there isn't the idea of vending machine or TV or nothing special there.
Mm-mm. Agree,
Okay, because
agree.
the second point was, in fact, what special
Yes.
facilities should your canteen have?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there is partial omission. So definitely a no for 5. You must bring
Yes,
it down.
exactly. Agree, agree. And I think like most of our audience, they are agree, okay, that we give
3.
3 for content.
Correct, yes. So communicative achievement, I know it's very sad to see only one, but um, the introduction and the conclusion itself didn't do justice to the article. They could have expanded more.
Yes.
And there are more like personal feelings that I am going to talk. So articles,
Um,
you should refrain from doing that actually because
yes,
you're
yes.
harming the readers. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
communicative achievement was only 1
One.
because it only communicates straightforward ideas and conventions of the communicative task reasonably appropriately. So it was not very effective, or it was not holding the target reader's attention.
Mm-mm.
That's why it's only 1.
I think we need to raise our bars, right, for this third extended writing.
Yes, yeah. So to get a 3, they should be giving like straightforward ideas appropriately and
Yes,
our
exactly.
attention as well.
Mm-mm.
But here it didn't sustain our attention. Just 3 paragraphs and it's filled with
Mm-mm.
errors. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes. And
organization
it should be written for 200 and 250, right?
words. Yeah. but I think
Weight.
it doesn't meet the requirement. Yeah.
It doesn't meet the requirement.
So organization was only one because there's very limited cohesive devices. It was just next, because, lastly. That's it.
Okay, Nurdiha said, wow, language mark for me is too low. Exactly my students. I think because of the different band we are targeting here. Okay, so that's why apart from part one and part two, right, we need to be stricter, I think, in marking part three. Okay,
Correct.
because of the band.
Because
Band
the level.
required is different, right?
Yes. So that's
Okay.
why I would always encourage you to have the descriptors with you. Even when
Yeah.
you mark normal essays your students submit, you teach them, okay, look, you have written well, but for part three requirement, you do not fall under the three category. So I have to give you lower than that. Okay,
Yes,
so the
yes.
students are aware. Okay, this is where I stand in part one. I'm really good. I can get 5. But
Yes.
part two, I'm only getting a 3. Part three, I'm only getting a 1. So it means your level does not reach B2 level for part three. Okay, but we still have time to do something about this. So don't worry. Take one step at a
Okay.
time.
Miss Shirley say I would give 1 for language. On point, Miss Shirley. Okay. KH Chong, why no commentary? Okay. And
Because
Mel
this is
Ibrahim
the
say this part is stricter. Okay, Miss Nanini, why no commentary?
because the commentary is actually given in the Google Drive. So if you download, it is there, and I couldn't copy and paste it up into like one slide. So if you refer to the Google Drive that Izul has posted, everything is over there.
Yes, yes. Okay. So the audience, okay, you can get our the download material. Okay, Izul has attached it in the comment section. Okay.
Yes, correct.
There. Okay.
All right.
So you can download all the materials from there. Okay.
Okay. So the student only managed to get 6. Okay, three,
Six.
one, one, one. Yeah,
Yes.
6 out of 20.
6 out
So
of
it's
20.
so part three has been, very challenging for students.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly.
maybe the
And
simple one.
it's going to be hard because they need to write more, okay? And then the requirement is higher compared to part one and part two.
Exactly. That's why they have a choice of 3 questions. So if
Mm.
one of it is too challenging, they still have the other options. So they choose what they think they are very good at.
That's why I think for the first part, right, a lot of teachers they are surprised on how generous Lembaga is. Okay, if you compare to the part three, I think this supposedly we need to be generous for part one, just to help the student to survive for part three.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of fair and square there.
Only the really good ones can sustain the level. So from A
Exactly.
to B, yeah, to B2 level. But if they are really weak, so I think they can only perhaps score on part one. So we give them
Yes.
that. We give
Mm-hmm.
them the marks that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so shall we move to a few more? Okay, this is very small. Okay, let me get mine. Okay, so that there's no paragraphs at all.
Nothing.
That one, yeah. So you can imagine the marks for
Yes.
language and okay. Let me just go through. It starts off by saying, my school is do a school canteen and I would like to join the participate. I would like to serve a drink water to all students. It would have many types of drink. Okay, so there is an idea of special facilities, what to improve, and what other types of food. Okay, so you cannot give a 5 for content. I don't think you can even give a 3 for content. Okay,
Exactly. Not even like, looking at this, not even two. Two is too generous for this.
no. You are right. Okay, so Izul, can we look at the next slide? Okay, I will read the comments. Don't worry. So content was only a 1 because The reader is minimally informed due to the length of the text also. If they have explained more with descriptions and explanation, we can give more marks for content. But it's just a 3-lined, not essay, paragraph. Okay, so you cannot give them more than that. So
Exactly.
content 1 means irrelevances and or misinterpretation of task may be present. Okay, yeah, because they never answered. Kehendak soalan memang tidak dipenuhi. Nothing there.
Yeah.
And look at CA. CA, to get a 1, if you look at descriptor on page 24, to get a 1, minimum 1, it must produce a text that communicates straightforward ideas using the conventions of the communicative task reasonably appropriately. But here, there wasn't any attempt at all. So you cannot even give a 1.
One of the audience asked Miss Nandini, should we mark down if student memorize essay?
Well, we don't know if the memorized essay will fit into the context. If they memorize and they talk about, I don't know, the canteen and the cleanliness, but it does not talk about facilities or improvement or other types of food, you will have to mark them down according to the subscale. So content, tak dapat, okay, language, if it's really good, okay, fine. But CA and content will be affected very badly.
Okay,
Because
Miss Liwayan asked, can we give 0 for content? Nothing answered at all.
yeah, if there's no content to be assessed, yeah, you can give 0.
Okay, Nurdiha said, can we watch this discussion again later? Yes, you can just go to the YouTube link. Okay, this
Yeah.
can be watched via YouTube. Okay, so you can watch it again. Okay, C0 is 0 marks. Okay, I have found the full marking page. Okay, good for you, Miss Chong. Okay, any more question? Okay, Rida said, I am too generous. Okay. I think because of the different band, right? Okay. Some of us has like, set up our mind, oh, this is it. This is for 3 marks, right? So we kind of affected by that, right? The fact that we need to actually perceive different essay with different band, okay? With different view, because they have different bands, I think. Okay, we can prove that it was memorized from Sophie. I think you can see the level, right? The level of language throughout all 3 parts to know whether they are memorized a script or not. Okay, that's for my part, right? As a teacher, you know your student whether they memorize the essay or not, right? And you can look at the language level, right? If they can sustain the good control of the language.
Yes, and also, Kak Aisha, if they have memorized for part 3, the part 1 and part 2 will actually show. Yeah, so
It will
cannot
be like a significant difference, right?
correct. Yes.
Okay,
And also,
Miss Susan Agatha, asked, what if the student wrote out of context?
like does not answer the requirement of the task, is it?
Out of context, meaning to say they
If it doesn't
give
answer
0.
if it doesn't answer the question, then you have to give a 0. Because if content is totally irrelevant and target reader is not informed, you award a 0. That's why they have given you the points. What are the type of food, what special facilities, what you can improve. So you train your students to answer each point given in the question.
Okay, the last one asks, if the memorized part are perfect, for example, language is 5, but there are parts, language is 3, but there are parts. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Okay, if for example, for extended writing, they are memorized, right? So the language is 5. For other parts, they only get 3. For
You mean
part 1 and part 2, the language is 3. For the memorized one, the student managed to get 5 because of the memorized script?
I think we should not have to compare part 1, 2, and 3. I think they are on its own. So if they get a 3 for part 1, fair enough. But if it's a memorized script, okay, when we are marking, technically we don't know whether the student has memorized or not, right? Because we don't have any proof. So we are just assuming that the
Yes, we
flawless
are assuming.
language. Yeah, so I think we should not bring that when we are marking students' essays. So what if they have memorized? Because CEFR is all about ability. So I can write this or I can understand the task. So if they have taken some measure to memorize, so it's like, it's up to them. So I think we shouldn't really have that thought in our mind when we mark. So because that is going to influence our belief, right? So yeah. And I think it won't be a problem because it's not SPM last year. It's not It's not KBSM. It's KSSM. So I don't think there is a way that they will be able to. Okay, I think this will come out. This is a spotted question because we don't know. The points can change. The requirements could they change the WH question. So there's no way that you know for sure that they have memorized. So don't
Okay,
have
Ms.
that.
Andini, Muhammad Khairi asked, can student get 5 for content if the student briefly addressed the point but not enough elaboration?
No, to get a 5 for content, all content is relevant to the task. So if they are not touching all the points, you should not give them 5. For example, if it's types of food, so they must give sandwich or fruits or whatnot. Facilities, okay, is it a vending machine? Is it a television? So there is mention for each of the points. If something is missing, you cannot give a 5.
Okay. From Miss Khaliza Pamin, if the content is 0, would the student still get marks for other skills? For example, CA, organization, language, if the content is 0?
If the content is 0, it means it's totally irrelevant, right? So if it's irrelevant, I don't know how they can get marks for others. Because if the content is relevant, then you can proceed to achievement, communicative achievement, and then right. So I don't think you can give 0 and then you can give maybe 4 or 5 for the others. I don't think that will work because
Okay.
content comes first. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to mark, go through content first before we go to other CA, organization, and language, right?
Yeah, because partially communicative achievement depends on the content, like how successfully they can answer the question, how intelligently they can answer the question, right? So if content itself is going down the road, I think CA you cannot help them that much.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Miss Chong still said no elaboration for content. Okay, so no elaboration because for the content part, Miss Chong, is that?
Is there what? I don't understand.
No. I'm talking to Miss Chong. No elaboration. You are referring to the content. Okay. No replies yet from Miss Chong. Okay, Sophie asks, content 0, CA 0, organization 2, language 2. Is it possible?
I cannot say now because I don't have a script in front of me. So if it's 0 for content, uh, it means it's nonsensical, right? So it's totally irrelevant, not informed. So I don't know how you can give marks for the others. So if there's an example, you can always send me a text on Telegram or WhatsApp, Sophie. So I cannot answer now because we don't have a sample script. We are only basing this discussion with the scripts given by the Lembaga Peperiksaan. So I cannot just say, okay, kalau kosong, semua kosong. Kalau satu, semua satu. So I am not in a position to say that because we don't
Okay,
have the script.
I think due to time constraint, right? Can we move on to
Yes, please.
part 3? Okay.
Yes. Come.
Okay,
Okay, so
Nani.
let's review. Okay, the second type of question given by the Lembaga Peperiksaan is actually a review. Okay, I have highlighted some of the keywords. Okay, give me a minute. I cannot see the slides on my screen. Uh, Okay, there it is. Okay. Reviews required. Have you watched any interesting movies lately? Bear in mind, it is not a series or a K drama or whatnot. It's a movie, an actual full length movie. Send us your movie review. Say what you enjoyed about the movie. So, element of enjoyment, something pleasing when you watch it and you feel happy about it. Would you recommend the movie to your friend? Why? So recommend means you have to say something positive as well as something negative if there is, if you would like to avoid that, So persuasive language should come in. So the best reviews will be published in our newsletter. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I apologize for the handwriting, but you can refer to script 9, part 3 of your module. Okay, give me a minute. I have to go to that as well. Okay, I think this is about a jungle book, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, lately I have been watched a movie. Again, grammar error glaring there. Lately, I have watched a movie, okay, at the cinema. I'm so excited for it because the movie is very popular on World. The movie is very popular. Okay, on World, not suitable, so you just underline. The title of a movie is The Jungle Book. So again, it should be just the title of the movie is Jungle Book. So language you can actually see from now. The language it cannot be very high. Okay.
Yes.
Next, I like to omission this movie because I would like to review this movie or something. The verb is missing there because of one little kid with a lion. Because to be a king of jungle, again, error and meaning doesn't
Language.
come through. You are inferring the boy was with the lion and he became the king of jungle. So, language, no. Unfortunately, the kid was 7 years old. I don't think unfortunately fits this context.
Yes,
Okay, not
yes.
every kid was 7 years old would have been appropriate. Okay, you have to take note of that language and also the way they link. So organization, unfortunately, is not a good way to organize your
Yes.
idea. Next, and was very young to be a king. Was very young to be a king. Okay, error, underline. After that, again, after that is not really suitable for extended writing. The movie show is about the jungle life, and I'm very enjoyed it at all. Okay, I enjoyed it a lot, or I felt pleased, or not appropriate. Very enjoyed them. So the paragraph ends just like that, abruptly. The third paragraph is the movie. It was great, edited at all. Okay, so it was edited well. There were lots of graphics. There were visual effects. So none of these vocab was given here. So language, you cannot give that high. People on that. Okay, I don't know what that is. Very touched at the movie. At Okay, I don't know what's that. At Living at All. Okay, maybe they are saying that the movie was very touching and heartbreaking at some points. Again, you
Inferring
are
again. We are inferring.
yes, the meaning does not come through the writer.
Yes.
Next, the movie of Jungle Book is more to fantasy and action film. So very lots of people shocked for that. Again, very lots of people. If a student is in Form 5, they should write many people or lots of
Yes.
people.
A lot of
Very
people.
so annotate that gross error. Between the young kid and lion, is a lion always protect the young kid? Again, it should have just been the lion always protects the kid wherever he goes. So between was not used appropriately to link ideas. Wherever Wherever the young kid must have a lion follow it. Gross errors. They are also like a family and take care for each other. They are also like a family. So there is gross error and take care of each other. So not a good usage of preposition as well. The final paragraph is that was a great movie that I watched it. Again, it could have just been a simple sentence. The movie was
Mm.
really great. Okay, so underline watched. I hope that you, omission, I hope you will also, okay, enjoy the movie. Enjoyed, error. So
Mm.
there is some attempt to give, um, to recommend the movie, but it could have been elaborated more. Okay, let's look at
Yeah.
the marks given by Lembaga Peperiksaan Malaysia. Okay, content was a 5 because
Mm.
it was only content, Kak Aisha. The others no. So okay, they were very lenient because
Yeah.
the boy or the girl is fully informed. Jungle Book, there was a lion. It was very heartbreaking. It was touching, and they cared for each other well and dandy. Good. So you can give
Okay.
a grade. But when it comes to communicative achievement, it takes a down. It goes
Yeah.
really down. Okay.
Yeah.
The frequent language errors
Yeah.
was affecting the ways the ideas were communicated. Okay. I have
Mm.
been watched, error. I'm very enjoyed it, error.
Mm, 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 mm.
So even a 3 is not possible because
Yeah,
a
not
3
possible.
it should hold the reader's attention and communicate
Mm,
um, straightforward ideas appropriately.
mm,
Here
mm.
it was not appropriate, I'm afraid. Okay, so it's only 1.
Yeah.
3 is too high, 2 is too high. Okay, so next, organization. For this candidate to get a 3, a minimum of 3,
No.
it should have it should have they should have used cohesive devices, um,
Appropriately.
and it should be well organized. But here,
Yes.
the fourth paragraph starts with between the young kid.
Mm, mm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not a good way to begin your paragraph.
Don't,
So
yeah.
3 is too high. The Lembaga only gave it a 2. Okay. Next, language. There are everyday vocab: cinema, title, fantasy, action. But um, errors are glaring. It at all, edited at all. A lion must have a lion follow it. So again, this doesn't show a good command of the language. So that's why you cannot give a 3. Because minimum to get a 3, if you look at page 23 and 24, there should be a good degree of control. But here, the
Yes.
good degree, you can't see it. That's why it's a 2. But if
Mm-mm.
errors have been reduced, you can definitely give it 3. So it was 5, 1, 2, and 2. Only 10. 10 out of
Yes.
50.
I do agree. But this actually the sample give me the understanding that you can give the student a 5 for content and lower marks for the rest of the skill, right?
If
Uh,
they do not achieve the message correctly, if the message
yeah.
doesn't come across, you have to penalize them in that subscale. So don't just bring their whole mark down.
Yes.
It's not like your format, content, and language in your continuous writing or your directed writing. So forget
Mm-mm.
about all that. So here we
Yes.
only look at the subscale.
Yeah, sub skills, right?
Correct. So if
Okay.
they are doing well at 1, fine, give them the marks there.
Mm-mm. Okay. Miss Surya said, what if the students, right, use mixed language?
Like using Malay.
Yeah, because they do not have like vocabs, right? If the students use mixed language, okay, in writing, how will the mark be assessed? Okay,
You
because they do not know the vocabs.
you have to bring down the mark in language. Use the subscale,
Of
language subscale
language.
to bring down.
Mm.
Because if they are using languages other than English, it doesn't show that they are able to produce uh,
They
phrases
have.
or sentence structures.
Mm.
So language you have to bring down.
Okay, Miss Ain Zaid said no elaboration, just stating the points. What will the mark be for the content?
What do you mean stating the point? So stating the point means like giving a sentence, is it?
Maybe they just answer the question needed and there's no elaboration.
No, no, no. It must be followed up with explanation. It's no more like, mere statement like in directed writing. No. If
Okay.
the question is asking, okay, what did you enjoy? So the idea, you cannot just say, I enjoyed the movie. No, like, what did you enjoy? I enjoyed the graphics. I enjoyed the plot. Or I enjoyed, it must be followed up with some,
Oh, okay. So
if
you
not,
have to be precise, right? You
yes.
cannot just simply give the answer and that's it.
No, because it's communicative achievement. How
Achievement.
far you achieve and you
Mm,
get the message across. If it's really good,
okay.
you give a 5. Not
Okay.
good, you bring down to 3. Horrible, you give
Okay.
1 or 0.
One. Okay. Okay. And then Miss Aisha asked, where does development of idea fall under content or CA?
Development of idea, it means like expanding on the content points,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
I think that will come under task fulfillment. If they manage to answer the first point, you highlight them in communicative achievement. If there are 3 points and you answer all of them, it is in the it's
content.
how intelligent you answer the questions, right? So CA you have to give, and it's also part of the content because content is task fulfillment. If you fulfill, then you get higher marks. So I think there is some overlap, but achievement is more uh, how well you answer, but content is do you answer or not.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you tick the box or not? Okay. And
Exactly.
CA would be like how well you actually, get the idea to us, to the assessor.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, what is this? What is the mark for language? Couldn't see. Two. Miss Chong, two. Language is two. Okay. And Sophie commented we should mark each session separately and take a break after each section. Otherwise, our marking will be affected. True.
Yes.
Right, because it has like different band there.
Okay, Kak, shall we go to the next one?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I'm
yeah.
afraid. Yeah. Okay, so I will skip this. If you have the time, I would actually encourage you to look at a review written on Avengers Infinity War. Izul, if you go to the next slide, this student actually scored a 20. So like 5 out of 5 for each subscale. Okay, next. So it was well written. They didn't give too much of the plot. It was really good. So okay, we'll do. I would suggest you to do it on your own sweet time. Next one, Izul. It's 2 pages. I think 6 paragraphs. Okay, so as I said, so it was 5, 5, 5, and 5, and it
Full
was
mark.
almost error free. Yeah, so you should read this to have a sense of how to give a 5 out of 5, and also the Jungle Book. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's move to the next one. Okay,
Okay.
now we reached the final type of
Part.
question, which is story. Okay, here the title is given. Okay, so the title. Wait, let me get to my slide. Cannot see. Okay, your teacher has asked you to write a story for a school magazine. If you look closely, almost all the target audience are similar. School magazine, a newsletter to your teacher.
Yes,
So the
yes.
target is someone very close to them in their circle. In their life.
Yeah.
So it's like for an international magazine or a journal article, very relevant to their own life. Okay, and the story must have the title "A Dream Comes True." Bear in mind that dream here is not actually the dream that you sleep and you wake up, right? So here the description of the dream should be given. Um, if your dream is to, I don't know, open your own luxury clothing store or to have like a string of A plus in your SPM, okay, so how do you want to achieve? So those are things that must be given in this type of essay. Okay, so how the dream is achieved should be given. So here if the students are very descriptive and they are very imaginative, I would suggest them to go for this type of question.
Yes.
Okay? But sometimes students do not like to go crazy or creative with their language. They just want to do, something like the canteen problem, how to improve, pros and cons. Okay, that type of student, fine. You teach them, you mold them to answer those type of questions. But here are the more creative ones who are
Yeah.
willing to risk and try different things with the language. Okay, let's look at the sample given. The dream comes true. Right. Okay, Izul, the next slide, please. Let's look at the mock script. Give me a moment. I have lost my. Okay, so it starts off like a speech. So, okay, we will go through. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Today, I want to share about a dream come truth, error, and then start a story like a speech. You cannot say good work. Okay, so the communicative achievement should be marked down here. Suddenly, when you dream something, will have reality. Again, you don't know what the student is trying to say, so your language you cannot give high. Next, we can dreaming something. Again, horrendous. We can dream about something. We can have a vision of something. So dreaming something, no. So think about your language descriptors from now. Can get you happy and reality. Again, we don't know if the
Oh,
student understands the meaning of reality or
yes.
not. They're just saying reality. Because when we dreaming something and exactly that reality in beside your eyes. Again,
Mm.
you don't understand what this candidate is saying. So language should be marked down here.
Down.
And also the organization. I know they have used because, but again, because was not used appropriately. Because should be followed with a concrete reason, but here is reality. And the word reality has been repeated 3 times in one single paragraph. Yeah. So next paragraph. Number 2. When we hope something in dreaming. Again, when you write a story, you don't have to signal the readers by saying number 2, number 1, number 4.
Yeah, yeah,
It is not a good way to organize your ideas at
yeah.
all.
It's not a
Organization is
proper link even.
nope. Okay. So this is like a verbal speech. Okay. Yang kedua,
Yeah, yeah. But and it's kind of direct translate from their own mother tongue.
correct. So you have to mark them down here. Okay. When we hope something in dreaming, we can get something in dreaming. Again, like what is dreaming? So you are supposed to talk about your dreams and what you want to achieve. So failure to do so will reflect badly on your marks. Next, sometimes I dream and hoping I will get A plus in SPM 2019. Okay, so here, more or less the idea is coming. So to achieve A plus, okay. Every time I think and I'm hoping to get an A plus in exam 2000 SPM 2019, that's it. So like it's a hanging sentence there. So it's not
Yes.
complete. The idea is just abruptly finished. I think and I hoping to get, when we dreaming something one day, the dreamings will become true. Nobody know about dreaming will become truths. Again, truths, error,
Yeah.
and
Very vague.
the idea of how to achieve the dream. But if they have taken steps to say, I want to go for tuition, I want to improve my language skills by doing study groups, I want to take extra sessions, I want to read more, write more, maybe you can give more marks. But nothing of that sort has been given. Okay. And finally, the third paragraph is, I always dreaming. When I sleep, wake up. Sitting, whatever I always think, my dreaming. For one day, it's not problems to dreaming and hoping for something you want have for one day. Good Lord, I don't know where to start. But here you have to come with your own interpretation. Okay, so you don't know if there's a problem or if you are hoping for something you want to have or just sitting whatever I always think. So double line, meaning doesn't
Yes.
come true. One day dreaming just you're hoping to have or become happy or something can get your better before that. So here the language is completely unintelligible. You don't understand
Ouch.
at all. So if you look at the marks given, you'd be surprised.
Quite
The con
horrendous.
Yes, Izu, if we can look at the next slide. Oh, it's already 10:40. Okay, we will try and do it quick. The content was only a 2 because there is some misinterpretation. Okay, instead of
Yeah.
giving information about the dream and how you can achieve the A plus in SPM 2019, the candidate just talks about dreams in general. You wake up, you sit, you get up, and that's it. So you are not you. The candidate is minimally informed. Okay, so you cannot give a 3. To get a 3, the target reader must be on the whole informed. So
Informed.
it, yeah, so you cannot give a 3 at all. So 2.
Mm.
Next, communicative achievement was only a 1
Yes.
because there is some attempt, but the appropriacy was not really there. Suddenly, when you dream, yeah, so what? You are supposed to give a description and how it can be achieved. And yeah, 3 is too high. So I think that's why they couldn't even give 2. And 1, it clearly says produces a text that communicates straightforward ideas, but even then it should be reasonably appropriately. But you cannot give a 0 because 0 should be anything below the performance of score 1. So there is some attempt, but it wasn't successful enough to get a
Yes.
3 or 2. So you don't
Mm.
give them 0, just 1.
Okay.
Organization, there are very limited devices, only because
Yes.
and then and I hoping. So you cannot even give a 2 or a 3. It was just 1.
Yes. When.
I would have given a 0 because it wasn't appropriate. But since there is an attempt, so I think they gave 1. Yeah, 0 is like too cruel, right? Because there is like what 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, so some level of
Mm.
interpretation. Okay, so language. Sorry to say, the language was a 0. Yeah, because there wasn't a good degree of control,
Yeah.
and the meaning was sometimes vague, and the writer didn't um, help with sustaining the reader's attention at all, and also
Mm.
the basic vocab was not even used appropriately. Reality was repeated, but what is reality and how to achieve that dream was not given. Okay, and it impedes meaning. Like the last sentence there, given in the comment section, I always think my dreaming for one day. It's not problems for dreaming. So
Mm.
no at all. So that's why even 1 was not given. So
Yes.
yeah, 4 out of 20. But we
Yeah.
but we do have such students, but that doesn't mean that we should leave them at that level. So we train them
Yes.
more vocab, more linkers.
Yes. And
So
in this case, right, we need to know the difference between dream, what dream you have at night, and dream as if you're in. Because
exactly.
they, you know,
Because the
they couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, but the question was specifically touching that how the dream is achieved.
Yes,
So even if you
exactly.
want to sleep and have a dream, but if you can tell how you want to achieve that dream, you can still get marks. But here
Mm.
it was just mere description, no
Yes.
measures or no methods on how to achieve it
Yes.
at all.
For the second part.
Correct, correct.
Okay, Miss Chong said, how if they really mentioned a night dream uh, that they had became a reality? I think Miss
If
Nandini has answered that.
If they have mentioned the steps to achieve that, then you can give marks. If it's just you
Mm.
sleep and you wake up, it doesn't answer the question.
Yes. Okay, can we move on?
Yes, please. I think the next question is touching about that. Some sleeping and okay. Wait, a dream comes true. Yeah, I think this is the one. Let me check. Okay, so here there is an element of dream as well. Okay, let me quickly go through. I lived a normal life with my family. My parent always reminds me to find money by myself if I wanted to buy something. Because of that, I worked hard, but this year they didn't allow loud error because it will disturbing error my SPM. So I find a way to get money. So I think the dream here is probably on how to get more money because the parents have stopped this person from earning money. Okay. There was an article outside school library. Omission of the. I was exciting. Error. I was excited because the grand prize was amazing. The article is about making your own novel. Okay, so probably the dream or the goal is to write a novel and to get it published to get a prize, a grand prize. After that, I give a name to the teacher. Error. I gave my name to the teacher. I feel challenged because there are many students who participate and all of them are the best at exam. Maybe the idea of like they are better than me should be given. I feel down for a bit, but I'll try my best to win the competitions. Again, competitions, it was just one, right? Writing a novel, but suddenly it's competitions, more than one. So some ticks over there. But let's continue. The competitions doesn't kill my time, but it helped to improve my essay. So I don't know what are they talking about competitions, but the idea of novel has been given earlier, so we should continue. My family and friends also support me behind. I don't understand why they have to be behind, but just provided support. Anyway, I worked hard every day until I have finished the novel. Okay, wrong. At night I had dream weird. At night I had a weird dream. Should be the correct one. I was in cooking competitions and I won first. Okay, now cooking pula. Tadi novel. Never mind. I won first. So I think the person won the competition in the dream. I feel happy, error. I felt happy and puzzled at the same time until I awake and just realized it was a dream. So now the reality kicks in. 1 month had passed until I forgot error about the competitions. The teachers called the participates error. I felt nervous when the teacher called the winner. It should be announced the winner. I think so, like a inappropriate vocab. The winner was from the other class. Although I didn't win, I got the second place, and it makes me happy. The second prize was not bad, but I feel happy because I didn't give up too early. I think that dreams show me that I will win competitions, even not the first place. So show it should be showed me. So here there is a dream and there is some reality as well. This person has mentioned that they will improve the essay, worked hard every day, and the parents. So sorry, I think that somebody supported from behind, right? Friends
Direct
and
translation.
yeah, there. Correct. So there are descriptions and also how you can achieve the dream. But again, now we are confused whether the cooking competition or the novel. But the idea is there compared to the previous one, which says, the vague one. Okay, so if we look at the marks, surprisingly, they got a. Isul, the next slide, please. Okay, so surprisingly, the question was 5 because the target reader is fully informed about the dream of winning a competition. Okay, and how the dream was achieved. I think the dream show me that I will win competitions, even not the first place. Because in reality, they won the second prize, and there was a description on how they plan to achieve that by writing, by working hard.
The steps, right?
Yeah, that's why content was 5. So if
Mm.
that is the idea and these two things have been answered, you can give them a 5. Although
Yes.
the language was horrendous. Okay, look at communicative achievement. CA. Um,
Not
the
even free.
student's attention was not totally held all the time. So you cannot give a high band. That's why it's a 2. I was excited because the grand prize was amazing. Yeah, so you are mentioning that the dream was to get the grand prize. And I feel challenged because there are many students who participated. Okay, so there are some personal feelings and how a story should be written. So you give them the merit there. So only 2. Cannot be more than cannot be 3 at all. Next, organization. There is a lack of effective simple connectors and linking words. You can only see because of that. After that, 1 month had passed. That's it. So you cannot give them a 3. For 3, it has to be used appropriately and
Yes.
organized. Language also only a 2 because the errors are noticeable and the subject verb agreement was quite
Yeah.
horrible. But meaning can still be determined. So you cannot give them a 1 or a 0. So
Yes.
at least a 2. Okay, so the total mark was only 11. 11 out of 20. So that's
Okay.
the end of the third part. Do we have any questions before we go through the
Miss Nandini, Miss Chong asks, I will not give content full mark, okay, regarding the previous script if the organization and language are only 2, okay. Uh, because I think right, most of us, when we talk about content, right, we try to see it in a larger picture, right? So we kind of look at every sub skills. The thing is, we need to like mark according to the sub skills, right? If they answer the content, the 2 question asked, so we need to give them 5. Okay. Um, that's my opinion because because as a whole, right, I mean, like, if you give like two for the sub skills and language is 5, okay, it kind of feel like awkward, right? Because the rest are a bit lower, but it is we it is achievable. I mean, like, not achievable, it can happen, right? If we give like 5 for content and the rest are two, as
yeah,
long as
because
they answer.
yes, and content is the easiest subscale to actually score because if you can answer the requirement, most probably you would actually get the full
5.
mark. Yeah, so if there are misinterpretation, if there are omissions, then you can bring down the subscale. But for communicative achievement, it actually has to do a lot with your language ability. So if you cannot successfully provide intelligent ideas, I'm sure it will go down. So if you think they have made an effort to attempt all the points, don't penalize them in content because that's the only subscale that you can try.
Exactly. And there's one view here from Sugar. Need to stress that it's a B2 level essay that goes up to C1. Therefore, CA, L, and O cannot be 3. Content is the same for all 3 parts. Okay. So this is the what we have been saying throughout the session. We have different band for different part of essay. Okay, but the
Correct.
content remain the same. Okay, and of course, Sugar mentioned, okay, you need to understand, okay, you cannot mark all essay in part 1, part 2, part 3 the same way, exactly, okay. And we have another 5 minutes, okay. So any question from the audience, from the floor?
Before that, can I quickly summarize, Kaisha? Just like one or
Oh,
two
okay,
slides.
yeah. Sure.
Okay, okay, Izul, if you go to the next slide. Okay, so if you look at the task 1, task 2, and task 3. Sorry, yeah, they are part 1, 2, and 3. The average for each part is slightly different. Okay, so it starts off with A2, ranging from A1 up until B1. So that's when you can give the appropriate bands if they have managed to achieve. So it's only pitched at A2. So maybe even in PT3 level, if you are a good student, you can actually get this. So task 2, there is a progression. So it's pitched up until B1 level as the average. So the green line there, you can see from A2 up to the B2 band.
B2.
That's a range, yeah. It's just averaged at B1. Okay, but task 3, it is up to C1. So C1 is actually post-secondary, like Form 6 MOET students, so they are of this level. And okay, so if a student is scoring 555 for task 1, they might maybe scoring like a 333 for task 2. So that's why the Lembaga has given this table, because there's a progression in the level of CEFR skill.
Okay.
And next slide, please. Google. Can we have it in presentation mode, Izzul? Because I cannot see the slides. It's too funny. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so part 1 was a short response of about 80 words, and it's only pitched at A2 level. Okay, part 2, there is an increase in word length as well, about 150 words, and it's at B1. The third task is extended writing task, and it is pitched up until B2 level. So the length is also longer, about 250 words. Okay, so that will mark the end of our 2 sessions. So we have covered part 1, part 2, and part 3 today. So I hope the teachers are well aware of how to actually score. And if we go to the next slide, is it? Final one. Okay, so I hope you understand the format of the writing test and the level it's pitched at. So it's either A2 or B1, 2, and you should be able to use the different descriptors for the different tasks. Okay, so if you're going to mark your exam, get the descriptor out, study them, and then you look at the question requirement, and then you can draw parallels between them. So it's easier that way. And try not to mark all 3 in one day. Mark all the part 1 so you get an idea of how well they have done, and you can benchmark them comparing script 2, script 3 to 4. Okay. And I hope you are a bit confident in how to use the different assessment scales. Bear in mind that this is new for every one of us. This is the first year that SPM will be pitched at CEFR level. So we try to take it as it comes. So the final slide should just say, with that, we would like to thank you for your time, for joining us. That's the final slide.
Okay, audience, okay, please fill in the attendance form, okay. You can see in the comment, okay, and from our SIC Plus officer, thank you for joining our PLC today, okay. The coordinator for this PLC, before you leave this session, could you please state your school, okay, the name of the school, your district, your state, and one emoji, okay. Okay, we have one last minute. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, please fill in the attendance. Okay, that's the crucial one. Okay, thank you, Miss Nandini, for this wonderful sharing. Okay, stupendous, amazing. Okay, I hope that we have like a very fruitful sharing session for today. Okay. Keep coming, okay. Jaya Sharif, SMK Senai, PLC team. Thank you, Nandini. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, Sita, Miss Sita, SMK Siti Wangsa. Titi Wangsa, SMK Putri Titi Wangsa. Okay, thank you for being here. Okay, Miss Vanny, thank you so much. Very informative. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here with us today. I hope this is going to be very beneficial for both us as an educator and for our student as well. Okay. On
Yeah.
behalf of JKD and
Aisha,
PPMP,
for a
yes.
while. I think there is a question. I think Madam Julia has posted in our stream. Is there any question by Hazwa Wahid about organization? I think.
Oh, okay. I'm still not clear about organization. If student just uses common cohesive device, like first, second, lastly, how should I mark organization? Assuming the paragraphing is acceptable. This is for what part, Ms. Hazwa?
But generally speaking, right? So there are two dimensions of it, right? So if you have cohesive devices, they should be linking to ideas, to sentences, to paragraphs, and the essay as a whole. So I think they should be exposed to using um, words like moreover, having said that, other than that. So just merely using first, second, last, those are actually to describe a process. Like first you cut some onions, then you heat up the stove, and then you pour some oil. Okay. So for a recipe, maybe first, second, and last should be okay. And things like after that. But when you are linking ideas and paragraphs, I think it is best to use things like besides that, in addition, linking ideas, comparing and contrasting, or even concluding. So I wouldn't be giving merit for words like first, secondly, or lastly. So and you have to look at the parts as well. If it's part one, it's a different
Yes,
descriptor. If it's
exactly.
part two, and for part three, to get a 5, the text is well organized and coherent, using a variety of cohesive devices with generally good effect. So it means the devices should be appropriate, and it should be relevant to the linkages of ideas as well. Okay? So firstly, secondly, it doesn't carry much weight. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay,
Any
I think that's well explained. Okay, so that's it. Okay, the end of our second PLC. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, on behalf of JKD Kulai, on behalf of PPMP Panel Perunding Mata Pelajaran, I would like to thank everyone for being here with us. Okay, for being a very supportive audience. Okay, we would like to say sorry if there is any inconvenience happen throughout the session. Okay. And thank you again, Miss Nandini, for this fruitful session. Okay, with that, okay, thank you. Okay, bye bye.